Hi everybody, my name is Barry Schwartz and this is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is Friday, January 3rd, 2020, and there may have been a Google update on New Year's or maybe not. We will see. Stay tuned. So maybe or maybe not. Just like with the Christmas update that we reported last week, a lot of chatter around the possible Google New Year's update. I don't think so. I don't think that Google rolled out an update on that day. Of course, Google algorithms are constantly moving. New pages are constantly being pushed into the index. All these signals are constantly being updated by themselves. That's how Google works. But there's been a lot of chatter around it. The tools themselves aren't really showing much. Traffic in general around New Year's and the holidays are down. It's just the way it is for most sites. But you can see the tools themselves really are not showing that much. In that sense, I really, again, will echo the information I said last week around the Christmas update. When it comes to the New Year's update, also just ignore your analytics for a couple weeks. Start fresh again on Monday, see how that compares to the first real week of January of last year and go from there. Don't get too worried about these holiday updates. I don't think there really was an update on that date. Of course, Google's constantly updating by itself, but again, do not get bogged down by that. This is not really new, but it's supposedly creeping into Google more often. A spammer will take this text on this page, scrape it, including the image, then go ahead and take all that text and put it through a text-to-speech software tool. Then go ahead and make a video from it, automate all this stuff. So basically, it will read the content with the featured image in the background, make a YouTube video, post that to YouTube automatically, and again, hopefully get those videos to rank well in Google search for those keywords that it's trying to rank for. So it'll basically scrape your content, make a video out of it automatically. Gary from Google said he sent it over to the web spam team to look into. But again, I don't think this is necessarily new. It's just another way of getting content into Google in a cheap and spammy way. Gary, again from Google, went ahead and said something interesting this morning. He basically said, and let me just quote it for you, as you can see over here, "It's a new year. Maybe we could put the voice search optimization fad to sleep finally." And what I think he's saying is not that voice search is dying. People are still using voice to search, and that's probably still growing. More and more people talk to their phones, talk to their devices, and so forth. What we're seeing maybe here is that Gary's basically saying again, hey, stop worrying about how you get optimized for voice search. Just focus on optimizing for the user. Google will take care of the rest. So that's something interesting that Gary said numerous times, and he's saying it again now. Google released a cheesy video this week around the URL inspection tool. John Mueller basically answered with Martin Splitt a bunch of questions around the URL inspection tool. And one of the questions was, according to Google Search Console screenshots, Google seems to be rendering only a part of our page. Is it just a screenshot, or is it something faulty that needs to worry about? No, it's just a screenshot. Google will only render a certain top part of the page. Don't worry about it typically. Why does Google Search tell me that there's a JS error when I use arrow functions? He gets into that. And why does the URL inspection tool report a status code 200 for a page that returns a 301 redirect? Again, that's how the URL inspection tool works. Definitely take a look at that video. And then, of course, you see some cheese popping in, which is interesting. I'm not sure why Google's doing that, but they are. Google's John Mueller said, no matter what you're doing with audio and video and multimedia on your page, you still always need textual content on that page. It's not good enough just to have an SEO podcast and think it's going to rank well. You need to have content, metadata, titles, etc., describing what that content's about in the actual multimedia, images, video, etc., so that Google can understand it better. Of course, Google's getting better understanding without it, but you still need to go in and give Google that textual content, according to John Mueller. John Mueller also said that persistent 500 code errors will and can result in slower crawls by Googlebot. Now, there's no specific number, he said. It's not like you need to get 20% of your pages or 20 of your pages to have those errors. It's just Google will figure it out and say we need to slow the crawl. So just keep that in mind. If you have 500 errors, you probably need to fix those anyway, so don't worry about if it's one or two. You need to fix your 500 errors. John Mueller from Google also said that fewer page types makes it easier for Google to process and understand. So if you do have mobile alternate pages that you don't need because your site's now responsive, get rid of them. Of course, AMP probably you need to keep, but in general, making fewer page types is better for Google and better for you. John Mueller also said that XML sitemaps are kind of like mixing up an energy drink. You take all your URLs, you throw them in this mixer, this blender. Google then mixes it up and then go ahead and uses that to make a faster way for it to index and find your pages. And John Mueller basically equated it to, also here I'll quote what he says, all sitemap files of a site are imported into a common big mixing cup, lightly shaken, and then given to Googlebot by URL in the form of an energy drink. Cute little quote there from John Mueller. Google's John Mueller also said that it's not really cloaking when you use a NoScript tag, even when the content that NoScript tag is being blocked by an endpoint, meaning Google can't get to that content, although it should be able to get to the content. And as long as the intent's there, it's not really cloaking, so don't worry about it too much. Google's snippets could show, actually it's pretty interesting, it's showing a list includes thing. So this is not from the content on the page. This list includes snippet. This is a normal snippet, not a feature snippet. And then it pulls the list of items in this page. If you go to the page itself, you'll see these are all listed out, but the words list includes is not listed out. And this you can actually replicate on mobile. I can replicate it on mobile at least. Google's local pack is now launched. It seems this choose area button. This is something they've been testing for 6 months or so, and it seems to be live. So if you do a search for something in your area, you'll see this choose area button. You click it, it's going to go ahead and at the bottom say, here are suggested areas based on your current location. Do you want to narrow it down even more to help Google find what you're looking for in your area? Google's testing images search with pagination. It's not really pagination, it still is infinite scroll. So usually if Google image search, as you scroll through the page, it will keep scrolling and not give you the page. But Google's now showing you this page 2 for some people. Even though you keep scrolling, you'll get page 2 and so forth. Again, Google's been testing this on and off. This is not really anything new, but that user interface is slightly new. There's been a lot of articles over the past few weeks, specifically, that Google's company, the culture, the employees, the attitude, the executives, etc., it's just not doing too well. There's a lot of articles around this. There's an article on CNBC recently, Google veterans, the company has become unrecognizable. It was at CNBC. A former Googler who was a really top-level executive at Google says, I was Google's head of internal relations, and here's why I left, and he goes through a whole story about it. There's tons of articles around this type of concept, but I went ahead and I cover stuff based on what the forums are talking about. So a former Googler, Jonathan Rockway, went ahead and commented in a Reddit story about why he thinks this is happening. And basically saying the company culture is not necessarily bad per se, it's what you make of it. So if the managers are saying, I want to find a shortcut, which is what's been happening, it's become much more corporate and people are it's getting more political and stuff like that. In any event, definitely take a look at that. It's sad to see, but I don't think anybody would be surprised by that. I posted a vlog this week. I will be starting to do vlogs every 2 times a week, so Mondays and Wednesdays, and then this video on Fridays, because I have so many vlogs I need to get out, and I'm going to try to escalate and then make these vlogs come out faster, so I get more content out there for people. It's just been, I have vlogs from the summertime that I haven't yet published yet, so hopefully I'll be pushing them out faster and doing more interviews. So this last one was from Rob Timmermann from Timmermann Group, and he talked a little about how we got started in SEO, Google core updates, how you should start early with SEO and not just start later, basically doing SEO wrong. And then is Google hiding the truth around, do they look at analytics data, Chrome data, and so forth? Definitely take a look at that. And then, of course, it was New Year's, and John Mueller, like every single New Year's and every single Christmas, he's out there in the forums helping webmasters. He posts numerous times on New Year's Day, helping people in distress, webmasters, and SEO. So thank you, John. Happy New Year's to everyone. I'm wishing everybody here a successful, healthy, and happy 2020. And that was the Search Buzz video recap. My name again is Barry Schwartz, and today again is Friday, January 3rd, 2020. Everyone have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next. Goodbye.